Welcome back. We have Travis Wright joining us on the show today. He is a digital marketing strategist. He obviously also recently published this book. It's called Digital Sense. Travis is here today as a part of the TRU Business Kickstart Speaker Series. Welcome to Kamloops.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm going to assume this is your first time to our humble town.
First time to Kamloops. Yeah,
Yes.
It's beautiful here. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you. You call Kansas City home.
I live in Kansas City, Missouri, yes.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You've written this book. You're a sort of a self-professed digital junkie. You're an author, motivational speaker, all of these things.
I don't know about a motivational speaker. Demotivational, maybe. But no, so I recently wrote this book. Came out in January with Wiley. I talk about social business strategy. How social media is not just marketing. It's every element of your business. You need to fuse social media throughout your business. We also talk about viewing your customer and how do you create great customer experiences for your customers, because if your competitor is giving your customer a better experience, they're going to leave you. They really they're just a snap away from leaving, right? And then we also talk about the marketing technologies that are out there and which tools and technologies that you need to market effectively in today's world, and also in a world where everyone has a mobile phone 5 feet away from them at all times. So what is that digital sense that businesses need today to become more effective in marketing in the online and mobile world?
Do companies hire you or hire your services to help them make their companies more successful?
Yeah, I work with quite a few companies. I have an agency back in Kansas City called CCP.Digital, and a lot of our clients are in Silicon Valley and out in California on the West Coast primarily. So we work with mostly well-started, well-funded startups and B2B type of companies, and we help them map out how their customers are, what kind of content do you need to get in front of them, and just sort of map out the strategies and the technologies and the tools, and we do paid advertising and social stuff, so a lot of things along those lines.
How does one fall into this line of work? Like, how did this all start for you?
Well, so I started doing stand-up comedy in the mid-90s, right? And so I figured I need to have an online presence. And so I got online. I was at school at the University of Kansas, computer lab, and it was really one of the first times I got online. And I said, oh, and this is in the early mid 1990s. And I got online, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I need to have a website for my marketing career, or for my stand-up career, right? And so I learned HTML and built my first website within 36 hours of being online for the first time. And I said, this is interesting. And then I was going to school at the University of Kansas. Then I was also working at, doing some telemarketing stuff. I got a new job at GTE selling Yellow Page ads. And then I understood, I was like, wow, well, if you're in Kamloops and you're a plumber, you should have Kamloops Plumber or KamloopsPlumbing.com. And most businesses did not have a website or a URL at that time. And so I started consulting and started understanding how to rank well in search and local before Google was even around.
Sure.
And then I sort of take the Wayne Gretzky approach to my career is go where the puck is heading. Don't focus on where we are right now. I like to get knowledge about where we are, but where are we heading? And then I like to sort of meet up at the past. And so I've done these little sort of things with my career where I've always like, whoop, whoop. Yeah.
You anticipate trends.
Anticipate change, yeah.
Yeah. Social media has just been a huge game changer in the last 10 years. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you factor in that everyone can have a social media channel and communicate with anyone at any time, for the better or for worse, right? There's some people who like to troll and get their aggravations out, right? And I've had instances where I've had moments like that as well. There's a story in the book Digital Sense where I had this encounter with the Kansas City Chiefs, which turned into this whole community rising against the Chiefs. And we ended up creating this thing called Save Our Chiefs. And they were horrible that year. And we ended up getting the general manager and the whole coaching staff fired. We ended up getting we crowdfunded about $7,000 and we flew banners over Arrowhead Stadium, and we blacked out the stadium one game. We had everyone come to the stadium wearing black, and we grew the social media profiles up to like 100,000 Twitter followers and 50-something thousand fans on Facebook. And so it was really interesting. It's like social media is very powerful, and I've been able to build a career and build relationships with the most amazing people throughout the world from Kansas City. It's like, I've never lived in San Francisco. So if anybody who lives here in Kamloops, get yourself a social media profile, get on Twitter, start connecting with people who you want to learn from and you want to emulate, and read what they're doing, engage with them, share what they're talking about, and connect with them. And you know what? You're able to build yourself influence over time, and to be able to do some pretty interesting things.
Excellent. So at 4 o'clock today, you're speaking at TRU as a part of the Kickstart Speaker Series. What are you going to pass on to the students?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about social business strategy. I'm going to touch on some of that. I'm going to touch on some content marketing strategies. I'm also going to talk about marketing technologies as well. So I touch base on 2 of the 3 core elements that's in the book, and then I'm also going to add some stuff to it this afternoon around personal branding, and so why it's so important to be a lifelong learner in this space, because the space changes so quickly. If you're not on top of it, then it passes you by pretty quick. So you have to be a lifelong, you have to love learning.
Yes,
sure.
And it sounds like that's what you specialize in, sort of anticipating where that puck's going to go.
Where it's going, and then testing and trying, because school in a lot of ways teaches you, oh, you got an F, you failed, that's miserable, you're bad, right? Well, in real life is you fail, and that's just a new lesson. And so I always look at it like this: is there's either successes or there's a lesson. And so when you can learn from your, because you're going to try stuff, and it's not always going to work. And a lot of times you're going to fail a lot. I do all kinds of A/B experiments and testing to try to get the right answer. And there's a lot of fails in there. But if I looked at it from the academic lens of, oh, I just failed, then it's crushing to some people, especially those A-driven sort of personalities, right? But in marketing, you're going to try things. They're not always going to work, and that's okay. It's a very collaborative space. You can learn a lot from connecting with a lot of people. So it's good if you know what's, if you're willing to try and test and do and learn and grow and keep moving forward, it's a great space to be in.
You are a motivational speaker after all.
Thank you.
Really a pleasure to have you on the show. 5 minutes doesn't do you justice. You sound like you have a very interesting portfolio. I'm sure that the students are going to get a lot out of you this afternoon.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you on the show. Again, he's speaking today at TRU. You could probably pick up a copy of his book, perhaps today, Digital Sense. Again, 4 o'clock today. You can go online, traviswright.com. We are back after a quick break. Stay with us.